Welcome to NinCast Episode 8, brought to you by Naruto Chronicles and Shinema viewers everywhere. NC is a role-playing forum site based on the Naruto universe. Come and create your own story at www.nimpocho.com. I'm Hayata Shin, your host, and my two co-hosts are Jake and CJ.
What's up? How's it going, everybody?
Welcome back. This is Episode 8, as I said. We were initially gonna have a battle system episode, but we're gonna push that back to another time. But just to go on, we have some good news to talk about. First off, NC is number 5 on the top rpsites.com. It's pretty great because now we have a lot of people coming to the site and things like that. We're going to try to promote NC in different leaderboard RP sites as well. So I guess you can all clap your hands and pat your size in the back or whatever. So yeah. So, Naruto chapter, things about Naruto right now, nothing's really interesting going on, besides, I think Sasuke says, they're gonna use some type of jutsu, I think it's called Daijutsu or whatever, I'm not sure what jutsu they're talking about, I think it's been spoken about in the past, in different discussions about what Daijutsu actually is, so hopefully next week we might have some better understanding of what's going on. Also, NC has created a new mini chat system. If you guys have actually gone to the site, it's pretty nifty. It's actually pretty seamless compared to the old one we had. Also, our affiliates, some of our affiliates are dropping. If you look on the bottom of the site, some of the affiliates are actually, the links are kind of broken. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but hopefully we can find the actual site and get it reposted. So, anyways, going off to in-character announcements, things that are going on in Cloud. First off, we all know about Hoshikata and his dealings and stuff like that. Hoshikata and Shashu and Haruka are about to depart to Water Country to help Hoshikata seal some spirit. Apparently, it's going to help change Hoshikata's alignment and I guess his character. Is that right, Jake?
Sort of. His alignment's not really going to change. It's just going to be less of a jerk about it, I guess. But yeah, his personality is probably going to undergo a big change. So, just most of his personality right now is actually the power that he's going to seal affecting him. You know how it is. You get a lot of power, you turn into a jerk. So once you don't have that power, you're not as much of a jerk.
So apparently, once you do that thing, your whole appearance is going to change because I'm looking at your avatar right now. It's basically a black guy. So.
It's Tiki Mint from Degrey Man.
Yeah, from Degrey Man. Yeah, he's a Noah, right? He's a
yeah,
Noah.
he's a Noah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is going to look very different. I would like to, I don't want to talk about that one too much. I want it to happen in the thread that it's going to happen in.
Sure.
Because it's one of those. It's going to be one of those those things that when I'm writing it, I'm sitting like, oh my god, this is so awesome. Then everyone's going to read it like, oh my god, this is so cliche. Probably. This is so cheesy.
Just go with spray on tan, and I don't think anyone would see it coming.
No, I'm just going to make a Cliff Notes version of the whole thread.
Give us a bulleted list.
Yeah, just a bullet list of what. That's going to be my thread, just a bullet list of what happens.
Hey man, that's efficient. You can't really go wrong, huh?
And then I'm going to test everybody on it.
Hey, I don't do tests, okay?
Fine, we'll do a pop quiz.
I
thought you have the bullet list right in front of you.
I thought I graduated, school. Why are we going back to this?
No, now you're in the school of life.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, I kind of want to go back to high school after dealing with the school of life.
If you guys actually play the game of life, it's a really awesome game.
Oh god, I used to suck at that game so bad.
Yeah.
Roll the dice!
I love that little spinny dial thing, like from Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, damn, that's a classic. You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, you can't.
You can always go wrong with your beat.
That game taught me one thing. Going to college is for suckers.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you always made more money if you just went straight to the career choice.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I followed that advice, and right now, I'm living large on $10 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
I'm making that money.
Anyways, going on to in-character announcements. Junko has received a Jinchuki, I think that's how you pronounce it. I read it. It's pretty nice. It's pretty amazing. I actually like the actual action that he and Daisuke wrote. So props to you, Junko. Also, Haruka has a new pupil, from what I can see, Masaru. She's been doing a lot of tutoring and things like that.
To correct somebody.
Well, I don't know. If Hoshika is not there, I think she should be fine. So, but yeah. So also Cloud is apparently turning to Canada because we have like about 7 missing mercenaries in our village. So it's brought to our attention that we might have to close our borders or fixate our borders and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny because if you compare Cloud to United States and our immigration law is kind of the same way. So.
No. I think I put it best earlier. Cloud is like MC's Canada. Everybody's welcome.
Canada, yeah, I said that. But yeah, I mean, everybody's welcome, I guess. Yeah, I mean.
You guys
until...
are the nicest people ever. I just walk into your village and kidnap someone, and you apologize for me having to go through the trouble.
Wait, it's not. You can only get so many chances. That means eventually, people get sick of it, and like you will do something. Actually, we're trying to actually make a death penalty system, but apparently we might have to rethink it because of the rules and stuff like that. But we'll discuss that another time. So anyway,
you can't do the death penalty though. That would be too cruel for shit.
Yeah, but you know, like
It's kind of true.
I mean, it's kind of cruel. I mean,
I don't ever see shit endorsing killing anybody.
no, of course not. He would never kill someone unless it's the only option. If it's the only option, yeah. Yeah, I did win, but then like
go the route of spoilers for who may not have played these games. Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Exile, when he is stripped of all of his force abilities. So what you do is you take a shinobi criminal, strip away all their ability to manipulate chakra, and turn them into a farmer. And you have their life become fulfilling by growing crops for the village. That is how
they start to drain the chakra out of everybody else, become a hole in the chakra, and then anyone. Don't
ruin my peaceful image for Cloud, okay?
I'm going to ruin everything about what you just said because that is the perfect way to make a chakra game.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway.
Anyway, going back to topic again. What else is going on? We have missions going on as usual. Some classes and stuff like that. So if you guys have an opportunity, if anybody in Cloud who has the opportunity to join any mission or class, you should do so. But besides that, there's nothing else going on in Cloud. I do want to talk a little about Stone because Stone has a lot of how can I say? It's a lot of rumors going on, especially involving Cloud. So apparently, Stone has some ideas about trying to kill or assassinate one of our council members, and a lot of people.
I'm not sure if that's Stone or just a player of Stone.
Yeah, I mean it's
a segment.
It's in the air, so we don't really know who exactly is playing this in character.
So there's a topic that Shin is referencing. That's located in the Petrified Redwoods. It's basically implicating somebody within Stone that wants to have a Cloud Council killed to frame Sand. So I mean, like this is here. This is being done. As to who wants to be done, we don't know. But someone's stirring the pot.
Yeah, so I guess the issue is, in Cloud is basically who's going to mod this mission or whatever this is going on. And it appears like anybody who mods it is somehow involved, has some type of conflict of interest, because if someone from Cloud mods it, then people will complain that, it might be unfair and biased. If someone from Missing mods it, it might be unfair because someone who's in Missing right now is currently involved in the actual mission, whatever. So on and so on. So it's kind of hard to determine exactly who can actually mod this mission.
Well, I have an idea. We should get Ryoma to mod
it. Ryoma, really? Hey, what's the last time Shane? What's the last time Shane?
Bring him back. He's already been posting.
When was the last time Shane actually did a roleplay?
Twice now.
We're taking this back to the days of 2005 when Ryan was still used to mod things. This is gonna get real now. Yeah, we're gonna be like, boss man. We got a job.
He's gonna bring it. They're still banned, but he's gonna bring a dragon in because he's the only person who can undo the banning temporarily.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, but that could be kind of unfair if he's become let's say Shane Shenron, like he becomes like this mystic dragon that appears out of nowhere, and and he actually mods the mission and things like that.
If you gather the 7 ninja balls, Shane will appear and grant your wish.
Yeah, definitely.
Ninja Ball Z.
Then we can go on and make an unofficial spin-off called Ninja Balls GT.
That would be a terrible thing because GT sucks.
It
but...
is a terrible thing. I'm pretty sure Ninja Balls Z is going to be a terrible thing. What are you talking about?
But it won't be anywhere near as awesome as Ninja Bucks.
Ninja Bucks. We gotta make those T-shirts though.
Did you ever
Yeah,
make
man.
that logo?
I've got the DSP file sitting right now. I'm gonna officially unveil it for the next episode. I'll have like T-shirts and hats and all that crazy stuff. Just you wait.
It's gonna be awesome.
15% of the proceeds, right?
No, we all get a free set of stuff because we're the hosts of the show. It's free goodies for us. Everybody else.
I'm talking about the profits, man. The money.
Hell no.
You get half. I get 15. Shit gets whatever's left.
I get the scraps. Okay, all right, I get it now.
You'd actually be getting.
You get more than him. If
You would be getting
call it
35.
Yeah.
So let's change that. He'll get 30 and I'll get 20. I'm not being greedy. I just want a little bit.
Sure. But yeah, that's what's going on in Stone. So a lot of conflicts. I'm not even sure. I mean, I really like the idea. I think it's interesting. I just don't see how it's going to be executed. I mean, to make sense in character, because it's going to be weird because the person has to infiltrate Cloud for one thing, and then somehow have to infiltrate the sector where the council members actually reside in and actually kill one of them. So I'm not even sure how that will work. I mean, Shinomis are supposed to be able to do
To
this.
actually find out who the council members are, because let's face it, Hoshigata's been in and around Cloud for like the past year, and he doesn't even know who they are.
Has he asked about them by chance?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Then it's logical he wouldn't know who they are.
No, he knows everything. He's omniscient.
Okay. He thinks he is. He's delusional, so.
Yes, he is.
Touche. Nailed that one right on the head.
He's psycho. He can see the future. He just has to turn on his ESPN.
So he's basically Joker. He thinks he's like. You know what, Joker, yeah, he's super sane. He pretty much knows he's a comic book character. So people think he's crazy, but he's not because he's a comic book character, so he has no like consequences or whatever. So it's kind of like I guess Hoshikata is the same way, right? I mean.
Oh no, he honestly does think he's a god.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, he is delusional. Yeah. My character scares me. I'll put it like that. I'm not as scared as everybody. When I have to actually get into that mindset to roleplay him, it just scares the crap out of me. I don't think anyone's eating.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Who is that?
I don't know. It could be a residual eating effect from Shane.
They might be hearing my air conditioner.
Well, I don't hear anything, so.
I can find a local kitty chick bag around here and make them hungrier.
I'm shooting myself, but it sounds unlikely it's me. I'm just gonna say it's Jake. It's usually always Jake that's doing something.
Why do we always gotta blame me?
Because you're Jake, man. That's why.
And you're always causing trouble.
Is it because I'm Chinese?
I don't know. I mean, you look Chinese, I guess.
Oh, God. Yeah. Just squint for the viewers.
Oh, Jesus. I don't want to squint for the camera.
Smile you on camera.
Chronicles does not endorse
Candid camera.
or encourage racism and or racist comments.
But we do think it's hilarious. Wait, no, that's Team 4-star.
Yeah, Team 4-star. So that's it for Stone. So I'm assuming there's nothing going on in Missing, right? So.
Actually, this is part of the whole kill the counselor thing.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Also in Missing News, we finally got back one of the original members of the Missing Council, Shiki Okane, who has decided for some reason to come back as a set of conjoined twins.
Oh yeah, that avatar's so weird. It's like, is it Siamese twins, basically?
No. Before she was playing a identical twin brother and sister. They look just alike, one male, one female. And now what she's going to be doing is basically someone will have medically fused their bodies together. They share like the same everything under
That's.
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird.
I mean, we're allowed to have it because then it doesn't break any of the
Yeah, no.
site rules or anything,
the
right?
thing that's gonna be really weird is they're gonna recognize my character, but they're gonna be like special. I'm talking in the little building out back in the school level special. So yeah.
Okay.
That was colorful.
As long as it doesn't break any site rules, like gory stuff, I think it'll be fine. But
I didn't
yeah,
want people to think special like I'm a unique snowflake.
Well, I've always thought that about you, Jake.
I am a unique snowflake.
very special snowflake, very special. Anyways, let's see, Sand, right? I mean, is there anything going on in Sand besides the event? I mean, I guess it's always the event, right?
Well, yeah, and it's important to follow up with because I feel like people are like expecting it to have a dramatic climax all of a sudden. It's more of a change of setting than it is a single linear mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it requires a lot of effort in order to change the flow of how it's going to go. Because, like I said, if no one decides to do anything, they can basically just live there. I mean, why would they not? Like, that was their purpose, to come in and to cause havoc. And if no one's going to stop them, I mean, either everyone's going to eventually die, they're going to run out of food, or one of many other possibilities. And then they just leave, and they're like, well, that was the thing. And dang, Sans no more, right? Yeah, I mean, it requires a decent amount of effort. But I mean, things are moving along. People have got a bunch of missions running now. Our singular anarchist is still going about killing villagers rather happily, despite his conflicted nature in that matter, which I enjoy personally. And the good guys are finally rounding up an HQ, trying to make some sense of everything going on. So we're gonna start seeing a united front soon, and I think that's when big things are gonna start happening.
Finally.
And I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I've already seen this episode of Sand, and I'm gonna spoil the ending for everybody.
Hey, no spoilers.
I'm gonna spoil it.
I know you read the manga, so.
Koba's coming back. He's
Oh yeah.
and they're gonna up the entire village and move to Koba Kakuri, the village head in Koba.
Buddy.
And I'm pretty sure there's like 6 people in that chat right now who don't even know who Koba is.
I'm
They
all
probably
about
don't.
that. I will second that. I mean, so there's been rumors we were going to change Sand, right? And Jake, you had to out us. Why would you do that to us, man?
Well, I mean,
why would you
I
spoil us?
cannot deny the people Koba.
The great Cobra.
Koba Kakuri was supposed to be a gift to the site, and you just had to ruin it.
I live in America. We have that whole thing against cruel and unusual punishment. Denying the people their Koba is a cruel and unusual punishment. I am not a heartless person. That's my character.
Zombie Yumi, yeah. I mean, basically,
I could probably convince Mingy to do that, actually.
yeah.
I'm gonna go convince Mingy to come back as a zombie.
I really want her to come back as Kyo though, because she's so beloved in Cloud. So.
Oh wait,
She could.
Ayuni, not me.
Oh, Ayuni. Okay.
I meant Ravi.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Oh, yeah.
I can technically bring a zombie Ayuni, because Daiki at one point roleplayed someone named Ayuni.
Oh yeah, she.
Yeah.
So did Yoji though. So I think Yoji did. Yeah.
But something worth mentioning is that we did have an old Sandy reactivate. I think it was yesterday. While it was like while I was asleep, I think, or while I was at work. We had an old Sandy reactivate, Onimuji. So he's back, which is nice.
Oh, cool. Cool.
You guys brought up Mingy. Mingy is currently she's working on the Rose Yard. And she's coming to Sand as well.
Yeah.
So we're getting a couple decent writers back into the village, and I think it's going to really help move things forward, like dramatically. And not to ruin things outside of the event itself. Sand Council as a whole, we do have like really significant plans for Sand in the future. Because okay, I'm just gonna lay it out there.
I'm not imagining
I may have said it before.
ants or hitting a cat.
Well, I do hate cats, so it's not.
Hitting a cat.
No, not petting a cat. No, hitting a cat. Not petting.
I'm doing good.
Anyhow, animal cruelty aside.
Yeah, let's just ignore the fact that you're
I'm not gonna
abusive to animals.
hide the fact that I actually really dislike Sand's current setting. I really hate it. I just had this conversation not that long ago about how it was set up, and the original premise was kind of interesting. I liked it. Except when I first came back to NC post-hack, I was like, okay, cool, we're in a cave. There's a reason why we're in a cave. So, that's the big one. Why are we in a cave? Okay, this is our reason. Well, there was two reasons. One, we went underground to avoid potential poisonous, disease, crazy enemy people trying to kill us thing. And a giant sandstorm made of diamond, which would flay the skin off your bones, sort of thing, right? So, okay, we go underground because it's going to save us from those things. That's reasonable. And then it was later on that I discovered, after reading a bunch of descriptions in Sand, is that one, so basically all the challenges about living in a cave were non-existent. So you would think living in a cave, you don't get sunlight, which sunlight, provides a lot of nutrients, et cetera, to your body. There's a psychological aspect about living in the dark all the time with, artificial lights. There's the fact that you can't actually cultivate anything and farm anything yourself to self-sustain, so you have to import something else that makes you really reliant upon another source of food and income and things like that. And I discovered...
chakra, anything is possible.
Well, yeah, I discovered that we had an artificial sky, which provides artificial sunlight, and we had miles upon miles of farmland. And
how do you have miles of farmland?
I don't know.
In the darkness, there's no light.
Underground.
We have
There isn't dirt underground.
You can-
You live in a desert. There's sand. You can't grow stuff in sand.
You can grow potatoes.
In our village discussion area, which is available to everybody, I think I finally unstickied it and locked it and let it fall back to page 12 over a discussion forum, so no one would ever see it again. That was supposed to be the map of Suna, and it has probably 80% of the village is freaking farmland. And I'm like, what? I'm like, how is that possible?
Hey, you can still grow potatoes, so you can still grow potatoes, so it's not that big deal. I mean, potatoes, anything from the ground, you can eat it.
I had that issue, so I was like, this is nonsense. And for the record, we still have light, because Sand's sort of steampunkish. We have a lot of working with metal and earth and things like that, considering we don't have readily available wood or other resources like that, because we live in a desert. So so we rely heavily on the pseudo chakra mechanical shenanigans, espeally with our leader being Sosuke, who's the essential ninja Tony Stark. So we have lightning. We've got lightning crystal, lampposts and things like that. But yeah, so basically all these challenges about living in a cave were non-existent. We basically lived outside, but in a cave, and I was just like, this is nonsense. So from day one since I came back, I really just as I said, I'm not gonna hide. But it doesn't change the fact that I still like the village. And in the future, we plan on changing the setting somehow. Completely getting rid of what people know Sand of now and into something completely different.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody knows where Sand is or what Sand looks like.
That's more that's part of the issue. Three of our most important things about our village. One, we're in a cave. Most everybody knows that. I feel like that's not completely exclusionary. I think most people understand.
Well, I don't know.
Sand
A
isn't
fake sky with fake sunlight.
The fake sky, almost anybody does know about, and then the diamond maelstrom, which is
everybody ignores.
Yeah, which like I said, and you can. Powerful shinobi can traverse it as long as they just not walking through it. Again, reasonably, but people do what they do. But some of the key elements to it are just squandered. People don't really know what's going on, and it's like an identity crisis. So we have these things, but no one acknowledges them, and it sort of defeats the purpose. And it's not like we don't have safe passage to our village, because there are tons of them. You just have to actually read things, and you would know this. And so it's more about making things interesting enough that people want to bother to read, to understand what is going on, to get a bigger picture of how everything sort of unfolds, right? I haven't even been in Cloud in years, but I still know that thematically, Cloud hasn't actually changed a whole lot since I helped build it from the ground up a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And I was second generation Cloud, so I didn't build it from the ground up. I built on the foundation. Anyway, moot point. So we want to change something pretty big, and it's going to be our village moving away from the current village. Whatever happens to it, either something happens to it in the event, in-character people decide this is a terrible place for us to live, we need to move. And so there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen. The village is going to relocate somewhere. And, what happens from there could be anything. We find a new spot. We could even change a country and rebuild a new village from the ground up. Or we find an old one and we decide to repurpose it. Or, we find a local town or something and we take over, which is maybe a little too antagonistic for, the same folks.
You guys can go and become the new Leaf.
No.
Come on.
That's
you
a whole...
always wanted to be a... You want to be a Leafy.
I've been a Leafy. I don't want to go back to that. I'm good. I had my experience as a Leafy. As a matter of fact, if I could go to be any other ninja, and it was just because it's the only one I haven't had the opportunity to be, and I never will again, is to be a Misty. I've never set foot in Mist. Ever.
You can't have Mist.
I know, it's gone.
It's gone.
We will go to Wonder Country and we will revive it with our awesome Sandies.
No one can have Mist, dude. It's not even... It's like literally absolute zero.
It's like Snow Country.
So explain to me how you guys...
It is frozen over, not even ice, just literally, it's too cold for ice country.
So how is Hoshikawa, Sashu, and Haruka going to travel to Water Country if they're going to die over there?
Very, very carefully. Lots of planning. Basically,
Godspeed?
they're all going to be bundled up quite well until they get underground. Once you get underground, it's actually not that bad.
Okay.
Probably just light yourself on fire.
So if I find out that Shashu and Haruka are dead, she's gonna go after your head. You know that, right?
I don't think you would know.
If you find out that they're dead, I'm probably dead with them. But if I happen to be the cause of it, then by all means, come on. I'm probably going to be hiding in stone.
I know you wouldn't let that happen because Hoshikawa is so infatuated by Haruka.
I don't know. Depends. There are certain things that could probably trigger that, but they're probably not going to happen.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Is there anything else, CJ?
No, I did my little ranting piece. I apologize for how long that dragged on for.
Alright.
Yeah, because, we never do long tangents.
Alright, so going to the actual topic, stuff like that. So, like how we usually do it, we always have a specific topic. Well, not specific topic. We have various different topics we talk about every 2 weeks, and we just discuss them. So it's not very, I'm not saying it's not all structured, but it all runs around a certain theme. So this theme is basically about RPs and games. So, and basically perspective, things like that. So the first topic I like to ask is basically RPs in various mediums in gaming. So we have lots of games. We have gaming genre. Sorry, we have a lot of gaming genre. We have first-person shooters. We have RPG games. We have MMOs. We have real-time strategy games. My question is, in which of these genres do RPs have a harder impact, and where does it become unnecessary to add as an element? So let's go first-person shooters, like Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty we have like a story. I mean, nowadays most first-person shooters try to add that RPG element, that story aspect, and it sometimes cheapens the gameplay aspect of first-person shooter, because when you go to play a first-person shooter, they're just to shoot people, not to be down to a story. So
I can only think of one FPS that has actually done the RPG side of it quite well. Actually, no, I can think of a couple, but the biggest one I think would have to be Borderlands.
Borderlands, okay.
I so knew that was coming up.
Borderlands, okay.
There's also, I mean, it's not an FPS per se, but there's Fallout, which is actually more of an RPG than FPS. There's
and it's
Deus
actually
Ex.
far more.
It's far more.
There's Deus Ex, which has RPG elements in it.
Yeah.
So I would still call that more RPG than FPS.
The big thing I don't like, though, is most of the time if an FPS wants to integrate RPG mechanics, they give you useless level ups that literally do nothing. At most, they might just unlock a new weapon. Oh, wow. I can fight better, so obviously you give me a better weapon. Because, if I don't know what I'm doing, I still can't launch a rocket launcher at nobody. Skyrim is not an FPS.
Skyrim is not FPS.
Skyrim is not even close.
It's an RPG game, so yeah, Skyrim is not.
If you can run around and actually hit something with a sword, you're officially out of FPS territory.
Well, you can play first-person shooter.
Magical fireballs out of your hands. I was going to say something else. Look, when your horse can scale a 90-degree angle, you have exited FPS territory.
That's a poor game design.
No, that was not poor game design. That was awesome game design.
9-degree slope. Okay.
When a chicken reports you for committing a crime, you are not in FPS territory. You are in epic territory.
That's right. That's right. Anyways, why do you think?
I'm going to put a bucket over CJ's head so he can't see the rest of this argument.
Why do you guys think that it's so difficult to add RPG elements in FPS games? Is it because
it's honestly not. It's just that they don't do it right. They just halfway do it and then say, okay, it's an RPG too now.
Do you feel like they're doing this because to make them more like? I'm not sure why Call of Duty started to back in the early 2000s, Call of Duty started I guess first-person shooters started to add in these RPG elements to make it more more interesting. I don't know if it's because first-person shooters were born at the time, because back in the day when Doom came out, in the 90s.
They do it to keep you playing the game. If you normal Call of Duty games, yeah, it's just running around shooting things. Okay, I got a high ranking. Well, eventually you're going to get to the point where your ranking won't go up, might go down because you're getting worse or someone else is better. But by giving you the ability to level up, they're giving you a new goal. So you keep playing the game longer, you keep buying those little microtransactions of theirs. You buy the next. Yeah, it's a Skinner box. You ever heard of a Skinner box?
No, I haven't actually.
The Skinner box was an experiment a guy did where he basically put a rat in a cage and there was a lever. When the rat pulled the lever down the first time, it got a treat. When it pulled it down the second time, it got a treat. Then it had to pull it twice to get a treat. Then 4 times. Then it had to pull it 16 times and squared it off each time. And eventually that rat, because it wanted that treat so much, just kept yanking on that lever until it died from exhaustion. That's the Skinner box. It's giving you this attainable thing that makes you feel good somehow, and then it's constantly just keeping it further and further and further out of your reach, so you keep going for it harder and harder and harder. And when you finally get it, you feel awesome about it. But in reality, all you did was kill that guy 7,000 times.
Just to get a fancy skin for a weapon that you already have.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually pretty much Call of Duty in a nutshell, by the way. We just summed up every Call of Duty game ever.
Yeah. Call of Duty, dude. Call of Duty, Battlefield, pretty much any FPS game out there almost.
Okay, what about MMOs? I mean, MMORPGs are designed to have role-playing elements, but sometimes, kind of like NC, we have the two types of players. We have the gamers, the power gamers, and we have the role players. And for some reason, developers don't actually make MMOs primarily for role players. I mean, excuse me, I think the Old Republic Online was trying. I mean, BioWare tried to make that more of a story-driven MMO, but it kind of failed in that regard because it kind of lacks in the gameplay as well. But in general speaking, most the developers who make MMOs don't really make them to enhance role playing in general. Do you know why that's the reason? You want to know why?
What's the main goal of any game coach?
Make money, right?
Exactly. You don't make money by giving someone a good story that ends. You make money by keeping them playing.
But why? I mean, couldn't you make more money by making a very good, engaging sandbox role-playing game? I mean,
no, absolutely not. I mean, just compare numbers. What do you think the most played game is right now that is not on a phone? It's not other than farm game.
Well, we have
actual game.
We have StarCraft. We have WoW. We have Call of Duty.
Yep. WoW is probably the most played actual game in the world.
Yes.
And you know why?
I guess replay value, I guess, and the competitiveness. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure why. I mean,
the social aspect.
Yes.
They
okay.
put you with all these other people that are suddenly relying on you to be here on time for this raid, so you have to pay your subscription to be there.
Yeah,
you don't pay your subscription to Blizzard, you are not there. These people who are relying on you no longer like you.
Yeah, but most of the time,
So if they throw a story into that thing, okay,
yeah.
well, hang on, I'll be there in about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm role playing. No, they want you focused on the game, the mechanics that the other people are relying on you to handle.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I'm pretty sure I know I've played my fair share of WoW, and unless you actually stopped and read every single dialogue from the moment you started playing to the moment your character hit the level cap and you started doing in-game stuff, you would have absolutely no idea what was going on because you were too focused on actually playing your character well to do the best damage in order to kill things, in order to turn in the next quest, in order to continue grinding to the point where you can start
When you're sitting there killing wolves and collecting wolf tails and you're not questioning it because you didn't read the thing, you just saw get 10 wolf tails, yeah.
Well, I guess it's mostly culture than the actual role playing. Because NC, like, we have the role playing aspect, but it seems like everybody's more. I guess it's human nature not to care about engaging, storylines. I'm not trying to
Well, the
judge them or anything like that, but
most of the people on massive multiplayer online games, offline, a lot of them are loners, or they're the outcast. They're the people who don't get on with people too well. So they get on this thing where they're getting on great with all these people. They're not going to pretend to be someone else. They're going to be themselves, who all these people suddenly love.
that's a very valid point. I mean, but then like in any role playing site, you're not actually well. Sometimes, I mean, when you role play, you can still be yourself, but personified through a different character's eyes. I mean, and I don't see how adding the RPG element. I mean, if it doesn't have any purpose, then why add it in the first place? I mean, the WoW has an enriching.
Because it adds to resale value.
Yeah, but no one really cares about it, though, right? I mean, WoW has actually interesting lore, but no one actually talks about the lore or the story or anything like that.
There is a very small group that actually do. I mean, it's not a massive multiplayer game. It is an online game. Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 is perfect to describe this thing. You're playing this game, you are actually playing with other people. They can help you, they can invade your world and kill you just at any time. And it's random how they do it. But that place has such a just deep and interesting backstory, the setting, the lore. You can go through the whole game without even knowing about it, because it's all not really hidden, but you actually have to be looking for it to find it. So WoW's the same way. It's got all this stuff that if you go in with the attitude, I'm going to learn the lore, I'm going to learn all of this. Yeah, it's there for you to learn, you can do it. But most people aren't looking at it that. They're looking at it like, okay, I'm making a new character so that I can get high DPS to help out the game.
So
I was guilty of doing that.
in a sense, like the gameplay could be a distraction, I guess, right?
Right, exactly. The gameplay is distracting you from the game world. They could obviously just strip the entire world away, strip all the setting and lore and everything, and probably 80% of the player base would even notice.
That's sad, but kind of accurate.
It's very true. I mean, which is very disappointing because it kind of, I mean, for instance, I know you guys know about the Old Republic online game that kind of bombed a year and a half ago because.
Yeah, that's a prime example. They tried to introduce way too many role-playing elements into a MMO because they saw the RPG after the MMO and said, "Oh, it's a role-play." No, it's not a role-playing game. It's a dice-rolling game.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the way they executed the role-playing aspect, because I mean I played the beta a lot of times and it felt like.
Well, there's also something to say about the fact that I am the chosen one along with these 1,000 people behind me.
Exactly. I mean, you can't like make an MMO behave like a first-player game. I mean, you cannot do that because
okay. I want to hop in here real quick.
Okay.
Because the Old Republic is a topic of conversation I've had, rehashed with not 100 people, probably a couple dozen.
Oh God, CJ's gonna go on a tangent.
No, I love KOTOR. I don't deny. I just think that the way it was executed in the Old Republic online wasn't good.
The Old Republic is not KOTOR at all.
It isn't. It's in the same universe, but it's not.
However, I mean, so is a New Hope, but it's like 4,000 years in the future. So I think Old Republic is 100 years after KOTOR.
Yeah.
played alpha, I played beta, and then I actually bought and played through the whole game, right?
Oh, man.
No. One thing BioWare is notoriously known for doing super well is writing their story. If you completely ignored the other hundreds of people running around you and the other miscellaneous grinding guys to gain levels, no, it is not. Because the game is enabled for you to play on the class main storyline, and you basically don't have to have help from anybody else. And you can do that all the way up to level cap until you complete your class's storyline. And that storyline was actually really well written. And it's complemented because they gave you NPCs that were relevant to your character, which, you could use in the worlds to help you fight anyway. Like, when you finally reached that endpoint, it was fulfilling, because the story all the way through was interesting. Where they fell off is that because they focused so much on doing that for all the different classes they had, is that their in-game content and their PvP content was really crappy. And that's why it didn't succeed, because you didn't want to go back and redo those group the flashpoints or redo any group raids because it wasn't interesting enough to do so. That's where WoW stomps them, because WoW people like to replay those. Although, and this is just me going to be hitting on loud for a quick second, WoW is really coming about collecting mounts these days. Anyway, that aside, they fell off really hard because of that. And people have made alleged claims that they've improved vastly since then, because it's been 2 years, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I haven't gone back and played, but they've introduced a lot of new content, and they still have a strong community. Again, they did the story part. They did the story elements well, but the MMO aspects, he just kind of fell flat.
Well, WoW also has a secret weapon I just put in the chat.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yep.
Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't know that? But to add on to your comment, CJ.
Jeopardy question. That's how
it was?
I saw that.
It was?
Jeopardy question.
I lost my mind.
I didn't.
And the guy didn't even get it. That was the best part. I'm like, you nerd. You're not even a good nerd.
Well, anyways, I'd like to add on to your comment, CJ. I do think that what BioWare could have done is made it so that the characters were we have the MMO universe. You have the universe. You can still have a story, but not make it so rigid to the point where it's like a very linear story where you have one character in his class and they do a certain story. Whereas you should have a conflict. Like every MMO has a conflict or some type of faction thing, and your character is involved in that faction. And depending on what you do could affect a lot of things. I mean, making a sandbox RPG is very difficult because depending on how involved the players are, it could be a hit could be a hit or miss of the actual success of the actual RPG. Because if the players are not really involved in the actual story or the actual generating the content of the RPG game, then it becomes a miss, right? But if they are, then it's a good thing. So, I mean, NC has an issue too because we don't have a rigid storyline. We don't. There is no storyline in NC, and people think that's a problem because if there's no story, there's no motivation to actually interact with anybody because there's no conflict or anything like that. But the good thing about role playing is that you're using your own imagination, your character is driving the story. So you're the main character, you're the author, you make the story. But a lot of people aren't mature enough to do that. So,
not within cooperation of others.
Yeah,
like I said, you both named the best reason and the worst reason about NC. Your character is the one responsible for driving the story forward. But then you find someone else who thinks this character is driving the story forward. And when those two characters meet, they're no longer driving the story forward because they run into each other.
Oh, no. In Cloud, we actually have ship-to-ship combat. We don't drive the story. Ships drive the story in Cloud. I'm not even kidding.
Dirigibles.
No, dude, I'm talking I kid you not, every female in Cloud is shipping something.
It seems like it, yeah. I mean, it's not.
They are shipping several things usually.
It's not too bad. It's just weird because once Switchikata came, actually no, excuse me. Ever since Shin was Rikage, there's been a lot of shipping for some reason because Shin's a very attractive man and everything like that. So everybody wants to like, you know, have a relationship with Shin and whatever. And then also like this, if you didn't ever notice, a lot of our leaders in Cloud are mostly females. I mean, we have Hikari as the main center, and we have Daisuke who's a male, of course. But there's me, that's Shin, and then there's
Shin, Ayumu, and Daisuke to Hikari.
yeah. But then we have Haruka who has some. She's the spy master. And we have other characters as well. So like we have a lot of female characters, very female influential characters in Cloud. So compared to how it was decades ago when it was mostly a male driven leadership. So it's kind of interesting though.
A decade ago, RP in general was a male thing usually. it was, I'm not kidding. I started role playing back in '97, I think. Yeah, right around there. At least 90% male. So,
Yeah, well, that's
well, hang on. 90% male. Of that 90%, about a quarter of it was guys who role played hot women and didn't tell anybody because they just wanted to troll.
Yeah, there seems to be like a rule.
That's still the story of the internet. Who are we?
There's a rule that states that assume that everybody's a male unless proven. You know, I mean.
I hate that.
Exactly.
No, these were like, hang on, these were not guys who actually wanted to. These were guys who wanted to stay. They just wanted to troll the crap out of everybody. Like they'd start flirting with you, and they go, "Ha ha, I have a penis." Keep in mind, this was back when teenagers started getting online, so
Yeah.
this was right around the birth of B. Oh crap! I mentioned B. I'm not supposed to do that.
No, why would you do that, Jake?
I can link people to B. Hang on.
No.
No. That we're going off tangent right now. So let's turn
I
face
actually
or whatever.
wanna get back on topic.
Yeah.
For role playing in games, CJ did bring up an excellent point. If you actually want to see a game where role playing, not just okay, roll the dice, hit this thing, but actually acting out the story makes a difference. The older BioWare games, the newer ones, you're going to be doing the same eventual story either way, but the older ones actually had some differences in them from that. Obviously, any text adventure game, but what I was about to say, has anyone here ever heard of Divinity?
Divinity.
Yes, sir.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
They just came out with a game.
Really?
It's in the pre-release. It's actually going to be officially released Monday, called Divinity Original Sin. And the whole point of the game, you actually control two characters. It's like an old school computer RPG. It's not one of those new ones where you're running around, click to hit, click to hit. It plays very similar to like Baldur's Gate, Fallout. You click there, your characters run there. You get a little menu for combat. Combat's turn-based and all that fun stuff. But it actually makes you role-play those two characters. And you have the option of checking the box and giving them a random personality, so you just sit back while one of them has this personality, and you can pick the personality for them. So this game actually has the option to force you to role-play it properly, which I think is awesome.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's not a lot of games that do that, so it's a good step in the right direction.
But yeah, if you want to see a game where role-playing matters, BioWare games all.
Yeah, BioWare's all the way.
Agreed.
Like I said, except for the new ones, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, it doesn't matter what you do or say, you're going to be doing the same thing, basically. But the older ones, you can actually completely change things. So.
Yeah. I know it was a big riot when Mass Effect 3 came out. The story, you guys probably know, like the ending.
Oh God! Let's please
We're not
step away.
we're not getting into that.
We're not getting into that.
Step away.
Make the call and forever quit this if we get into that discussion.
This is now over. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Well, let's go to our next topic. Basically, I want to talk about point of views, narrative point of view. You know, first person, second person, third person. How does that affect the way you role play, and why? Why would you choose this specific point of view? So, let's go on to the most popular view, third person omniscient, which is basically you're
It's easy.
yes, it's easy. You as the writer are writing the character in his eyes, not his eyes, but as a respective individual in that universe. It's not like that person, that character you're role playing, isn't as important as everybody else. Everybody else is equal in that regard. You're just narrating what the person's seeing, things like that. So, why do you feel like, besides it being easy, why do you feel like third person omniscient is the best narrative point of view in role playing?
Well, for one, you have more control over like the. God, how do I put it? There's you can cram more words in. That's really the only thing I can think of on it. It's just so much easier because you can talk about your character. You can talk about other people's characters.
That's true, but you can also do the same thing with the first or second person, I assume.
It just flows a lot smoother for most people.
Right, right.
Like, if you're in first person and you want to role play, let's say in this role play, someone turns around and drops something and doesn't notice it. That just sounds really awkward. Oh, I dropped that and did not notice it. That's just a bit awkward. But then he turned around, dropping the paper and walking off without noticing. Okay, that sounds better. I turned around, dropping the paper without noticing. You're telling me you just dropped the paper. Turn around and make it back up.
Yeah, I mean, it does impact though the way you read certain sentences and certain topics or whatever.
Yeah. So third person, you can discuss more things too. You can discuss inner character and out of character. Not out of character, but external to your character.
Yes, precisely.
Which is a bit forced if you're doing it in first person.
First person, I feel like a lot of select a few people do that. I guess
first person is amazing for introspection, internal to your character things. It hands down, it beats the crap out of third person when it comes to that.
yes, yeah,
But
I
when
do
you're
agree.
playing with a group of people, you don't want to be doing nothing but internal to your character stuff because they're not going to keep playing with it.
Right, right. But there are other players who can still like write first person and still be able to cooperate with other.
Quite a few good ones.
Yeah,
It's just that it's not an easy thing to do well.
right, right.
No, it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Just like second person. I know very few people who actually have a decent understanding of how to write in second person.
Yeah,
I've never seen anyone RP in second person.
yeah, I want to go into second person exactly. I mean, what exactly does second person look like? I mean, it's we, he, and she, right? Basically.
No, that'd be third.
Yeah,
Second
that's
person
third.
would be
No.
you.
Oh, you. That's right. You is second person. That's right.
And a good example, because this is when I use it on occasion on NC, I use it for modding missions.
Yeah.
And I pretend like I basically pretend like I'm Morgan Freeman talking to them.
Oh, God.
It's the best way to think about it.
Hey,
And you get the
Jake.
Morgan Freeman soundboard and actually do that.
You can.
It's not a terrible way to go about it. It's a good way to handle direction. Because I mean, think about it. If you were sitting down at a table with 4 other people and you were playing a game of D&D, you have all the papers, you have the figurines, you've got you're like hardcore, you have everything. The dungeon master is going to basically doing second person.
Yeah, I mean that's.
You walk up to this door and you see this. You now must roll for this. Your interaction with this character goes like this, and that's what it comes down to. So it's actually for people who might be interested in giving it a shot. It's perfect for modding missions because it's just basically feeding information to the characters to be able to make decisions in their next post. And I actually think it's really efficient when it comes down to it. It can be really rewarding as long as you can really work out a decent setup to writing with. So, I don't know, just a little pro tip to mission mods out there. Try give the second person a shot.
It's interesting. Yeah. So. We all agree third person mission is probably the best viewpoint in any role playing.
Best, it's just the easiest.
Easiest.
To do, therefore, a lot of people are doing something better.
Yeah.
A lot more people can do that well than the people that can do it first. And good God, I've never seen someone actually do second well.
Yeah. All right. So my next topic is basically a little bit broader. I want to talk about mediums in books. Basically, novels, comic books, and mangas, and the difference between them in regards to story, how stories are written.
See, it's a good thing you added that on. I was about to say, well, the difference is one has pictures, one doesn't, one's Japanese.
Yeah, in layman's terms, yes.
We're over this segment.
In layman's terms, yeah, that's basically it. But when you pick up a novel, like we all agree that a novel has, you can get more involved in the characters, history and backstory, their emotions, and things like that. Better than maybe a comic book or manga, because manga, like you said, it's only pictures and images, so you can't really reflect on exactly how. No.
No.
Okay.
Oh God, no. Comic book characters on the average have much more backstory and history to them
Manga.
Manga characters do, man. The thing is, those things go on for so long. I mean, look at Superman. Superman's been around since the 30s. A lot of times, those comics and the mangas can go on so long, and a book can only go for a much shorter time frame. Like, what's the longest book series you can think of off the top of your head? I'm probably thinking like the Harry Potter.
Harry Potter is not
Tolkien.
Tolkien's
The
three.
longest one that features the same characters.
Iliad. I mean, the book of
Iliad.
Not Iliad. I mean, the book of that Greek mythology book. I forgot what it's called. The epic. It's the epic in Greek mythology. I forgot what it's called.
The Odyssey?
The Odyssey, yes, correct. Odyssey.
Dude, that thing's pretty short.
The Odyssey is pretty short. I thought it was. Oh.
For the time, it was
Yeah.
epic. You put a book of that written down next to, like, the Harry. Yeah, Wheel of Time's a good one, actually.
Wheel of
Are they
Time.
on, like, 13 books now? Or are they still on 12? Either way, it's a lot of books. But, I'm going to go ahead and say that not a single character in any of those books, not a single one has as much backstory to them as Batman.
See, the fact that you're going to try to make the comparison between comic books and, manga or just even, novels in general, it is rough because, I just want to make the point of that you're also now jumping into AUs.
Yeah.
So you're now splintering into hundreds of different timelines of different characters with different backstories.
But that's what I'm
getting
saying. You can do that with comic books. You can't really do that with novels. Comic books, you can actually take the same storyline and completely recycle it. Just put different pictures on it. People are happy. You try to take a book and redo the same story and see what happens.
It's because the book has a stronger foundation, whereas a comic book is very loosely. Like, there's no. It's hard to change things in a book than it is in manga.
The best way to put it, like you just said, books, the story on a book is very tight. A book, you want to get the plot holes worked out now, because you have to release this thing as a whole.
Or
Comic
purposely leave some in there.
Oh, hey, look, we got a plot hole. Well, we'll fix it in about 3 years when we get back to that point and retcon it. You can retcon anything in a comic book. So you can get a much more expanded history for your characters going in a comic just because people expect them to last for a while.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point. I mean, mangas and animes don't really have an endpoint. I mean, generally speaking, they
We'll
don't
go
have
ahead and make Shashu happy. Mangas.
mangas.
There, I said it. I'm not correcting you. That's just how I'm going to try to remember to say it.
It's manga, right? It's manga, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
manga.
Yeah. So.
I live in the South, so I say manga. It's like mango.
Sometimes I do that too. So I mean, do it. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, comic books and mangas don't necessarily have a general endpoint. It's most of them do. Like Naruto, for instance. Naruto has like over 400, 500 chapters. It doesn't seem like it ends at all. Whereas a consolidated book will end at a certain point. It won't like end at some
You
point.
can't just have it. You can't release a book every couple of weeks. Here's 30 more pages to my book. There's not a publishing house that's going to touch that.
Yeah, but still, the important thing I'm trying to address is basically the story is it better written in a comic book medium than it is in the book, or does it depend on the genre or the situation that the characters are in?
I'm a bigger fan of books just because, you know, books, you get one novel. A good example here would be a Clash of Kings from Game of Thrones series, or Saga of Fire and Ice. Clash of Kings was over 1,200 pages. You're not going to get a comic book that's over 1,200 pages. Not unless you take several hundred volumes and slam them together. But what happens there is you get a lot of story all at once. With comics, you can get a lot more story, but it's going to be spread out over a lot more time for you to take it all in. But with books, you can go into more depth of things that comics can't. Like, in a comic, they're not going to waste 6 pages of people talking about backstory if they don't have to. But in a book, hey, I can put 6 paragraphs in here that explains this guy's family line that really doesn't have much to do with anything, but it does give you a better idea of why he acts like he does, even though he's just a minor character.
So, it's also important to talk about the distinct differences between novels and manga and comics. Is that they're all designed in a very specific manner in which to control the tempo that they run at. Very rarely will you ever pick up a manga and it be slow-paced.
Oh, I can believe it. There are mangas. There are mangas that are very low.
Exactly. And this is the most important difference.
You need that rapid pace.
It's true, but that is the dramatic difference between these mediums.
Oh.
And the difference that I find between manga and novels, and the reason why I prefer novels, is that when you open up a manga to an important scene in any manga, I can't think of anything. I don't really read mangas at all. Sure. Regardless, you open up to a page to a really climactic scene. Like, this is a big deal, and you get your panels, and you get the scenes, and you get the characters, and you get your bubbles of speech. But you are segregated to what it is exactly that they show you. You're not really given the ability to interpret everything else. Whereas in a novel setting, when you're reading a description of an area where people are currently traveling through, or a battle is going down at, or a meeting of clans is happening to, your mind sort of recreates everything else. Yeah. And you get a larger picture of the scenario because you're not shackled by what you've already seen. And so you get this opportunity to dream up something larger than what you would get out of a manga or a comic book. At least that's how my brain works.
Let your imagination run wild.
That is true, but sometimes, let's say for instance Dragon Ball Z or any type of action-paced storyline, do you think that, or even like Marvel characters, do you think like if you transition, I guess
DC would not transition well to a novel.
No, it wouldn't, because there's too much action. You can't like transition that type of thing into...
Novels are not good for pure action. Because people would rather see a fight than read a fight.
Really?
I also don't want to read, 3 chapters worth of Goku Power Rangers.
That's kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic because...
Dude, no, that'd be like a book in itself. Literally, 480 pages. Goku says, ah! Frieza says, ah!
It's 500 pages of quotations.
It's 500 pages of
quotations. Basically.
But ironically speaking, like in C, like we are restricted with basically... I mean, we are a very action-paced, action-packed
and you'll notice
theme.
when we get to the action-paced parts, which is the battle system, it condenses things quite a bit.
Yeah, so, well, in regards to RP battles, though, I mean, it's very hard to write a very well-written battle.
Actually, it's not hard to write a well-written battle. What's hard to do, especially on NC, is write one involving someone you don't control.
You mean as a moderator or as a?
I don't like his fight scenes, but R.A. Salvatore, I think that's how you say his last name. The guy who made the Driss novels, the Claire Quintet, all those fun stories.
Okay.
He is actually very good at detailing fights. Very good. And I think he does a great job at it. But one person can take note. At most, you're going to get 3 out of maybe 100 chapters in a book that are all about that fight. Because people don't want to read a fight very often. They want to see the fight. Fights come across much better visually than through words.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't deny that. But let's say okay. So we all agree that depending on the type of genre, like if it's a fighting, mostly primarily fighting genre, then it would be better transition into a comic book manga medium. Whereas something that is very dialogue heavy, like
a political storyline would do perfect with a novel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing I can actually say, one thing that could do equally well across either medium, depending on how you work it, though, is something like a mystery.
Mystery, really?
Yeah. In a novel, for a mystery, you tell people about things and you can make it seem inconsequential that it's there. In comics and manga, you can just put a background element in there that they might not notice that ends up being integral to the story, though. So the key points to both of those can actually be done quite well across all 3 mediums.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. There are. I think if you read Conan, I think Conan is that's what it's called. It's a manga. It's basically detective.
Detective guy.
Yeah, it's basically
I used to watch that
detective.
show.
Yeah, it's basically like it's a detective mystery, and it does well because it plays on the, can the writer deceive you, misguide you based on what's actually going on in the actual story, and the
And
books.
that's a manga, correct?
Yeah, it's a manga, and the books. They are novelizations of those mangas too.
Look at Encyclopedia Brown for books, or the Sherlock Holmes books.
Yeah.
So, although in a lot of cases, the Sherlock Holmes stuff, a lot of that stuff seems to just get pulled out of nowhere if you're not paying very close attention.
Okay. My last topic for tonight would be let's see, what is it?
How awesome Hoshikata is.
No.
We never talk about that.
I think we've heard enough.
Alignments, yes,
It's
alignments.
been at least a half hour. I need to talk about it.
You need your fix, don't you?
Yeah, I need my fix.
Yeah, so I want to discuss about alignments. Alignments is something that's we don't really discuss.
Like the chaotic, lawful.
Yes, so a lot of people don't. I want.
Lawful, neutral, chaotic, good, neutral, evil.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't really understand the difference between each one of them. So I think we should discuss
I can
them.
describe each of them quite well, actually.
All right.
That's one of the
All right.
perks of D&D.
So let's start with in the middle, neutral. So what is actually neutral exactly?
True neutral, there's 2 ways that people go about that. One is just apathy, which I don't think is actually the way to do it. What really would happen with a true neutral character is not so much apathy as they don't exactly lean between good and evil or lawful and neutral. They would honestly, they're your normal person. Most people are true neutral. They will commit good crimes or good deeds. They'll commit evil deeds, depending on the situation. They might be for the law in some situations, against it in others. A
Really?
truly neutral character is usually just a person like any other person.
What about chaotic neutral people? Chaotic neutral is basically someone who also.
Chaotic neutral is not always what people play it out to be. A chaotic neutral person is usually what you're thinking of. Most people are going to think chaotic stupid, which is the guy who goes out of his way to burn a village down for no reason. A chaotic neutral character is not like that. They will have goals. They're not going to go against those goals. Wait, chaotic neutral? I'm thinking chaotic evil.
I think it's
usually considered free spirit. But that's not what
I always
they don't
thought.
really follow the law. They're not very much up on society. They aren't with the status quo. They usually go against it. They like doing what they want, but they're not going to hurt people if they don't have to. By the same token, they usually aren't going to help people without a good motive, like, give me money.
Yeah, I mean.
So that's why they're called free spirit. Is a lot of people, they see that, I go against this, but I'm not an evil or good guy, and they think, I can just do whatever I want. No.
Yeah, so I guess it seems like chaotic neutral and neutral is basically the severity of neutrality. So, um,
Yeah.
I, I suppose
Chaotic
neutral,
neutral,
yeah,
when it boils down to it, is just it's like a renegade from the law, kind of. Just someone, that bad boy that everyone likes, who they don't really go out of their way to be a bad boy. They don't do good things if they don't have to, usually. But if you tell them, hey, stop chewing gum in class, they're the one who's going to pull out that second stick of gum and put it in their mouth just to show you what they think of that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, do you agree on that, CJ? Like, do you have any comments on that?
Oh, I mean, we pretty much nailed it on the head. It's hard. It's hard to fuss up things that are so well defined, such as this alignment scale, which has been around for a really long time. It's more of because it doesn't cover every possible contingency, right? There are shades of gray where a character will not live up directly to
Yeah.
chaotic
99%
good
of
intentions.
characters are, when it comes down to it, most of them actually are true neutral. Because not everybody's going to be evil. They're usually going to do what's best for them. They're not going to go out of their way to hurt people usually.
Right.
That's the fun thing I love about the alignment system is it's actually very hard to properly do anything other than neutral.
Really, I mean, I play a very like my character. People think he's naive, but I try my best to apply the alignment very seriously. For instance, Shin is very lawfully good. He wouldn't do anything against his nature, against
Well, here's
that
the thing.
alignment.
I can go ahead and prove that Shin has ignored the lawful side of his alignment.
Yes. Okay.
The crimes I committed against Cloud should result in my execution. You're not going to execute me.
Yes, but lawfully by law, basically.
No, lawful means you follow the law.
Yes, precisely. Because by law,
Lawful good would be like Judge Dredd. You have committed a crime, here's the punishment. I truly believe these laws are in place to protect society, and we cannot make these exceptions. Now, I mean, there are going to be people who ignore that, but that is the condensed down, pristine example of it. So when you have someone who ignores the law for a good reason, that is not a lawful good act, that's a good act. It's a neutral good act, actually. So a lot of people, my character is this. But you can't just have a character who is lawful good in all situations, because then you go to lawful stupid. So.
okay. So
I mean, so everyone, when it comes down to it, is going to be neutral something, because it's not always a good thing to follow the letter of the law or go against the letter of the law.
all right, let's go on. Let's try a different approach. Can you provide an example whereby a character has perfectly, well, not who has properly acquired the alignment that said? Like for instance, I personally I think Batman, for instance, is the prime example of a lawfully good character because
Oh God, no! Batman breaks the law. Batman is chaotic good or neutral good.
no, the reason why I argue that point is because even though, like for instance, Batman does, like for instance, Joker is like the prime example of the reason why I say it because Joker, based on
Joker's chaotic evil.
yeah, he is, but Batman wouldn't kill Joker because it's not lawful for him to do that because it's not.
No, he doesn't kill Joker because he doesn't want to become Joker. He understands if you kill someone for a good reason, the next time you're going to have a good reason again, and it's going to get easier and easier. But a lawful good character is not going to break the law to arrest somebody. Batman is actually a good mix in between of chaotic good and neutral good, because he is what happens when the law cannot do its job. He will step in for it.
But he doesn't break the law in the sense that like he doesn't take the law in his own hands. Every villain he's captured, he's always given the law or whatever government.
He gives it to the good guys.
Yes.
A lawful good character in this situation would hand over that technology to the police force. Hey guys, you need to use this. He wouldn't sit there with all this technology, use it himself to capture these people. And Batman does break the law quite a bit.
I don't disagree with that. So okay.
At the very least, speeding, because you know that Batmobile is going it's going way over the speed limit most of the time. Flying in restricted air zones, blowing crap up because he does have exploding batarangs, which are illegal in most places.
I think it's legal to all places because, you know,
Yeah.
sharp knives aren't really legal anywhere.
Actually, you are allowed to have explosives in certain places in America, but nothing. I'm fairly certain a lethal enough weapon like that would not be legal. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a very good example of lawful good. I can't think of any good examples for lawful good right off the top of my head either. Because, like I said, if they're truly good, then they're going to understand that at some points you do have to ignore the law for the greater good.
What about
You
RoboCop?
can't follow the law all the time and be good.
What about RoboCop? RoboCop basically follows the law. He's compelled to do the things with
Good
the law.
point, actually. Yeah, RoboCop would be a good example. He cannot break that. Well, he can, but for a long time he could not break that programming in him to follow and enforce the law. Actually, a good example would be Judge Dredd before all that crap happened to him.
Yeah. Judge Dredd is a good example too.
Yeah, like, you know, this is the law. I am upholding the law. Actually, no, he'd be more lawful neutral.
Ned Stark? Ned Stark?
Yeah, lawful neutral.
Who's Ned Stark again?
Huh?
Who's Ned Stark again? Ned Stark. I think Shashu just...
Ned Stark?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ned Stark is actually a good idea of lawful good.
Well, what universe is he from, though?
He's a good guy. Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones. Okay.
Yeah, he's a good guy. The very first thing you see him do, though, is behead someone because they deserted their duty because their entire unit got wiped out by what was essentially demons in their setting. And he believed the guy, but, you know, the law says you deserted, you must die. But he's a good guy, too. He doesn't like doing it, but he understands the need of it. So he's actually a very good example.
Okay.
For chaotic good, chaotic good would be Robin Hood.
Okay. That's fair
He's
enough.
a good guy who the law has failed, and I'm going to set out to right things my own way with it. Or the Punisher. Well, I wouldn't really call him a good guy.
No, Punisher, I think he's chaotically neutral because his perspective of good is by his definition. I don't think...
Well, good is by anybody's definition.
Right,
Good,
right.
good people are an opinion.
I mean,
It's perspective.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
perspective. But, yeah, but Punisher, I guess well, I guess Batman and Punisher are kind of very similar because they all are motivated
the
based
Punisher
by...
goes after the bad guys. It's just that he's very brutal about how he does it.
Yeah,
But he doesn't go after people who don't harm innocents. So actually, he would be a good idea of a chaotic good person who isn't actually all that good.
right.
But he doesn't really delve into evil so much. He's just a very brutal, ironically punishing person.
Right.
Yeah, and like I said, Judge Dredd would be a good idea of lawful neutral. The law is here for this reason. I don't care if it's a good law or a bad law. It is the law. You're going to follow it.
Wait, so Judge Dredd is chaotically neutral or chaotically good? Lawfully good, sorry.
Judge Dredd is lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral, okay.
Before he goes through that whole little I'm now a good guy, da-da-da background. The original incarnation of Judge Dredd, just the guy who I enforce the law. Regardless of my opinion of that law, it is the law. That's a good idea of lawful neutral.
Okay.
Lawful evil, here's what I love. It's not easy to roleplay and truly good anything outside of neutral, but it's very, very, very not easy to roleplay good. Probably the most abused alignments out there, though, are evil. Because no one, really, it's the hardest thing to roleplay just about is a truly evil person. Reason being, first off, very few evil people think they're evil. They might think what they're doing is evil, but they think they're doing it for a good reason. Good example someone put up earlier of lawful evil would be like Putin. The way he's trying to take over most of the old Russian bloc.
Okay.
Yeah. He is, actually, no, that wouldn't be good. Yeah,
We gotta put a light on a real person.
Laws doing it. Hang on a second, I can think of someone.
Lawfully evil character. I don't.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Let's think. Lawfully evil character. What about that character?
Politics is perfect.
Politician.
Politicians are lawful evil.
All politicians lawful evil. Oh man.
Like politicians for the record. But yeah, anyone who they're doing bad things, but they have a code that they adhere to. So actually, a good example, if you have seen, what is that movie? No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
This is going to sound really, really, really weird, I know, because the guy is not good at all, and he breaks the law constantly. The thing about lawful actually is the adherence to, for lawful evil, is the adherence to some sort of code, if not the law. Would be, I can't think of his name. Javier Bardem plays the assassin from No Country for Old Men. He has a strict moral code he sticks to. And it might not be society's moral code, but to him, he is bound with chains of iron by that code. So, at the end of the movie, he actually offers someone a chance on a coin flip. Yeah, sorry for the spoiler there. I wouldn't say that.
Movie's old,
Spoilers.
so spoilers.
Yeah. But, that right there is the only bending you have ever seen him do from that moral code. And his moral code is completely screwed, but it's something he sticks to. So that makes him a good idea of a lawful evil. He's not going to break his moral code, but he is definitely an evil person.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
For chaotic evil, second here. Joker's actually bad example.
Well, Joker's insane, though. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, Joker's not the line. Joker's insane.
What about any demonic character in any series, basically, like?
I didn't really think. The thing about chaotic evil that everyone gets wrong, everyone thinks chaotic evil means, I just go around and rape and pillage and a whim. And that's not exactly wrong, it's just you don't just do it, you don't have to be an idiot about it, you plan things out still.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say that.
Yeah. Trying to think of a good chaotic.
No, honestly, I would give it to Joker.
Joker? No.
I am perfectly fine with the Joker.
The Joker is insane, though. He's not like a. I mean, a chaotic evil character knows he's evil, but doesn't care.
That's the best thing I love about Joker. He knows he is an evil person.
No, Joker. Well, Joker doesn't.
It's a rare example of an evil person who doesn't think he's doing something for the greater good, and that is, when it boils down to, that's probably the best way to describe a chaotic evil person. They don't care about why they're doing these things. They just, okay, I'm a bad guy. I'm going to do this now.
It's a personal freedom thing, first of all. It's, I have these rights and I will do these, and if someone wants to stop me, they can try. However, the reason why, I just want to finish the thought, and the reason why Joker, I would claim, is the perfect example of a chaotic evil character is because he acknowledges that he is evil. Because Batman is his counterpart, and without him, he would not exist. He would not be the chaotic evil that requires the other half to counterbalance. Without something to work against, there would be no there would be no comparison. There would be no need for these alignments, right? Yeah, it would just be all chaotic evil because inevitably he would kill everybody, destroy everything because that is what he wishes to do.
Yeah. A good way to describe chaotic evil is if you have ever played Jade Empire from BioWare, the Path of the Closed Fist. So your power is the sum of the law. Whatever you have the strength to do, you have the right to do. That's a good way of describing it. If you have the ability and power to kill this person, you have the right to kill that person in your mind. That's a good idea of a chaotic evil. It's not that they're going to just go out and massacre villages for no reason, but hey, I feel like doing it, so I will. Most people who do chaotic evil are actually just doing the insane and they're doing it wrong. But, yeah. But my personal favorite alignment to play, and the one I'm probably going to pat myself on the back over,
Neutral evil.
Yes, neutral evil. The best way to sum up neutral evil is pure selfishness. A neutral evil person does whatever they have to for themselves.
And you know what? I'd agree with you, Jake, because the quote I just threw into the chat there is quoted directly out of the D&D handbook for neutrally evil characters.
Yep. They're typically selfish, have no qualms about turning on their allies at the moment, and make allies primarily to further their own goals. Does that sound like someone you know, Shin?
Yes.
And he's in your village.
Yes.
But then, like...
That is actually Hoshikata's alignment. That's why I said I was going to pat myself on the back. Hoshikata is also a rare example of someone who knows, well, not right now, but before all this mess with Haruka, knew he was evil, but just didn't care because he believed he was a god. But, yeah, a neutral evil person will do whatever it takes to look out for themselves. Or just to get ahead. So, like, okay, I will team up with the good guys. I will pretend to be a good guy. I'll go to Sunday Mass and donate to the church so that when I eventually blow this whole place up, everyone thinks I'm a saint, no one comes after me. And the whole reason I blew it up was because while it was exploding, I'm going to go over here while you're all putting out the fire and saving the kids, I'm going to rob a bank.
Well, yeah, Shashi makes a good point. Being lawful is about being... I think you addressed this already, about following the law, following the code. In regards to...
It's not necessarily the law, it's just a code of some sort. It could be your internal moral code. But the thing is, a chaotic person can also have one of those. So.
Yeah, so I guess it's sketching in some sense, right? Okay.
Like I said, it's eventually, when it comes down to it, almost everyone actually deviates a lot closer to neutral than they want to. Just because it's unrealistic to not.
Oh, it's like saying, it's also unrealistic to assume one person's only going to play one thing rigidly. People are going to shift in between some things all the time. It's just the bigger alignment, the things that you're... So there will always be traditionally lawful or traditionally evil, and then they'll shift around between neutral, chaotic,
but I mean, it's not uncommon.
It covers all contingencies.
Yeah. It's not uncommon for someone for a small time or certain actions to shift to neutral. But it's if someone ever shifts from evil to good or chaotic to lawful, either they're doing it as a cover or they just can't roll it.
Now, do you think that by alignment means you're a good role player, or is it some type of a distraction from role playing?
An alignment's a guideline. It is by no means a rule.
Yeah, obviously it's a guideline, yes, but like
you don't have to abide. Like I said, the thing about role playing, the thing I love about role playing is making an actual realistic person. So, like most people, like I said, they're going to at some point start deviating towards neutral, and that's perfectly normal for a real personality to do. So, no. If you are constantly sticking to your alignment no matter what, if anything, I'm thinking that would make you less of a role player.
How's that?
Because you're refusing to actually develop the character as they should be developed.
Now, I don't agree with that, because certain characters are designed in a way to symbolize a certain thing. For instance, like, I don't know, specific characters in different series are designed to be this scapegoat or this always good character. So if you deviate from
those
that,
are what you call a cookie cutter.
yeah, in some sense, yes, but in some sense, no, because if the character is designed to be this way, the character development, because for instance, Shin was not always this lawfully good character. He progressed to this character over a very long period of time. It wasn't
exactly. He has grown as a person.
Yes, but
so he wasn't always lawful good.
Yes, that's true.
Which means at some point you deviated from his original alignment.
Right, but
that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't mean that
deviate even a little bit from your alignment, then you're not role playing an actual living three-dimensional personality.
Yes, but
you're role playing a 2D cardboard cutout.
Yeah, but unfortunately, but in a specific period, like if there's no influencing that causes someone to deviate from that alignment, they should still abide by that alignment. So, if for instance the current alignment is lawfully good, and somehow for some reason they randomly do something out of character, out of the alignment, then it's not good role playing. That's the thing I'm saying.
If you just go out of the alignment for no reason, or for the wrong reason, then yeah, that's a horrible thing you should never do. But eventually, if you role play someone and you're role playing them properly, and you go on long enough, there is going to be a good and proper reason to deviate from that alignment. So, like I said, the alignments are not by any means a law or a rule. It's a guideline, something to help you figure out about where you will fall.
Right.
So, if you try to stick to it all the time, eventually you're going to have that cookie cutter 2D cardboard cutout character. As I like to call them, in the case of Lawful Good, you're just going to be a goody two-shoes because you are a goody two-shoes, not because you have a reason.
Yes. Well then, let's see.
Sorry if I got a little bit passionate there.
No, it's perfectly fine. I enjoy this these discussions.
That is one of my favorite things to discuss with you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wanted to talk more about it, but we're kind of out of time. It's been about an hour and a half, so.
For the record, I will be doing an after call if more than 4 people want to join.
Yes, and that's your cat.
Yeah, I have the door shut. I have a towel in front of the door to try to drown the noise out, and I can hear her through the headphones that cancel noise. So I know y'all can.
I guess that means you gotta get new headphones.
No, it means my cat is extremely loud. If anyone wants a 6-year-old Siamese who is extremely loud and will bug you to no end, get your own because I love my cat.
I thought you were gonna say you could have her, but I guess
Oh God, no,
that's
I
not.
love my cat.
That was exactly what he was expecting everyone to do.
It's my baby, man. That'd be like giving up a daughter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, like always, we'll have another episode in next 2 weeks. So, the episode will be uploaded on YouTube as well as iTunes. We're still working on creating cover art, so until keep searching on iTunes. We'll announce if when it gets posted on iTunes. So until then, stay frosty.